Which one is easy?
Question.
Okay.
In an experiment, a cold water is poured into a bowl made up of insulating material. So there's a bowl which is insulating material, means it does not conduct. The container is placed in a drought-free room.
What's this?
After several hours, the volume of the water and the temperature of a water is found to have decreased. Like example, let's say we took 10 cm cube of water. After some time, what we observed the volume is now, let's say, 7 cm cube, and the temperature is also decreased. So this was at 25 degrees centigrade, but this one is at like 20 degrees centigrade.
Evaporation.
Name and describe the process that caused the decrease in volume of a water, and explain why the temperature of water also decreases. So first, 1 mark is for the process. Which process?
Evaporation.
Evaporation.
So 1 mark is for writing evaporation.
The word is meant by drought-free room. Drought-free room.
Drought refers to the dryness. Like example, or a drought-free room means you can say no wind is there in the. When you blow the air, you create a dryness over a surface, that is called drought. So it is not exposed to direct moving air. So evaporation is a process. Now, so what will happen in evaporation? The most energetic molecules gain energy from the surrounding. This is important to mention.
To break the forces of attraction.
And break the bonds or force of attraction. Same thing, yeah. And scale.
And it's resulting in a resulting in a decrease of temperature.
The molecules which are left behind
Will have less
have low energy. So the molecules which are left behind have low energy, so the temperature will decrease.
The one they also escape. All these molecules with low energy.
Yeah, they will eventually all will evaporate, but it will, with the passage of a time, take much longer time. And why the volume is decreases? The volume is decreased because
the
number of molecules decrease.
number of molecules.
So during evaporation, the most energetic molecules which are there at the surface, they escape. So always the molecules which are left behind, they will have low energy. That's why evaporation is also known as the cooling process. So whenever a question about evaporation, the structure answer you have to learn for that. In part B, next in part B,
I'm ready.
in an experiment using the same apparatus, an initial amount cold water is in A. An electric fan blows over the top of the bowl. So we have the same container, same temperature, and the electric fan is there. So as a result, the air will move over. Predict and explain how the result of this experiment compare with A.
Wind speed decrease, so evaporation increase.
The water volume will be.
So it will have a greater rate of evaporation.
Has its power.
So if it is having a greater rate of evaporation, what will happen? Reduce the volume and temperature at a higher rate. It will reduce the volume and the temperature at a greater or a higher rate. Yeah. Either you have to compare volume and temperature will be smaller, and then one is for the rate of evaporation will be faster. In the third experiment, same initial amount of a cold water is poured into a metal bowl. So now we have, like before it was insulating, but now it's a metal. What will happen to rate of evaporation? Increase, decrease, or remain same?
It will increase because the temperature of the water will
Evaporation
increase.
decrease.
Rate of evaporation, increase, decrease,
Decrease.
Increase.
increase. Metals are good conductors. So as a result, they will transfer more energy from the surrounding to the water. Before that, it was taking energy from the surrounding and the neighbor molecules. But now what happened?
Evaporation will be like low.
Like example, say you take two containers, two cups. One is made up of metal, another one is made up of, say, plastic. And you keep the same amount of water inside. Which will have a greater rate of evaporation? Metal. Why metal one will have because metal is also absorbing energy from the surrounding and then transferring energy to the water. Metals are good conductor. And metal, yes,
Can it absorb the energy of the water?
the temperature difference should be there to absorb energy from the water. It's always a heat energy transfer from hot to cold. So we don't have a hot water here. Water is there at room temperature. So compare with the decrease in temperature is less at same time. Like as you can see in the third experiment, same initial amount of cold water is poured into a metal bowl and the bowl is the same shape, same size. Compared with the experiment in one, decrease in temperature is less than same. Why? So what is the reason for that? The reason is that because metals are good conductor. So transfer greater amount of heat energy to the A, like in experiment A. Experiment A was a insulating bowl. Now it's a metal bowl. So when we have a metal bowl, the decrease in temperature is less in a same time. Because the reason is that metals are good conductor. So the metal will transfer energy to the water. That's why the water temperature does not decrease the same amount as it was in insulator. Is it clear, the last part?
Yeah, sir.
Yes, sir.
I don't want